be day 10, the 10th week of us doing our Soul Care Wednesdays episode. And so today, coming onto you guys a little bit later than my normal time because life happens. I needed to go do some shopping and do some stuff after work. Hence, I couldn't be able to start up a bit earlier. And so, if you're new here, my name is Claire. I have the privilege of being the founder of this channel. And for the last 9 weeks, this being the 10th week, we have been looking at the Soul Care Wednesdays and just understanding things that can help us to prosper in our souls. As I say, I strongly believe 3 John verse 2 that God really wants us to prosper and be in good health even as our souls prospers. So you can't really be, well, basically your health is a reflection of how your soul is. If you have soul issues, you can't really have healthy lifestyle. And hence that's why we've been looking at ways in which before we talk about self-care, we look at the soul care. So we've actually covered quite a lot of stuff. We've looked at things like forgiveness. We've looked at things like being able to break bad cycles, and today we will be looking at something different, and that's the place of physical activity in our soul care. I find that sometimes when I am stressed up with anything or I feel like a bit under the weather or something, for me, exercise really helps a lot. And there are so many studies that have been done that show the relevance of exercise in our well-being. And of course, sometimes when we just kind of get to a point where we forget to go out to do some exercise, to be out in the nature, they can actually result in issues, including our souls being deprived of what they need to really have. And so why am I talking about physical activity? In many different countries around the world, they'll have different recommendations, but in the UK they recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week. So that means maybe just doing like something like half an hour of exercise every other day or every day, so to say. And that's something that sometimes can feel a little bit so easy to achieve for some people, whereas for other people that can feel like so difficult for them to achieve. And so today I want to talk a little bit about the relationship of how your soul can actually be impacted by your physical activity. So for example, if you're somebody who's constantly sitting down, you lead a sedentary life, and I can see some of you guys live, good evening. You lead a sedentary life, and every time you just sat in the same place, you're not going out, you're not coming out of that sphere where you're kind of in a way, you're boxed up in a way, and you're not thinking about, I need to get out, I need to do something, I need to move on highly. It gets to a point where you can actually start to experience things like stress, because try to think of a container, right? If you have a container and this container is full of stuff, right? You just keep on pumping stuff into this container and you don't really have an outlet. It gets to a point where, thank you Lee for your comment, the container will burst, isn't it? Because it doesn't have any outlet, so to say, somewhere you are actually able to remove or let go of those things that have been filling this container. But when you have a container that has an outlet where, for example, you can go out and say, well, I'm going to empty this so that, oh, thank you so much, Lee. I'm going to empty this so that I can refill myself with some things that matter. That can be really helpful. And one of the ways of emptying your container can be doing those things that actually fill you up, that bring you joy, that make you a better person. And for me, one of those things is exercise. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling like today I'm under the weather, or life happens to everyone, don't be deceived. Even for me, life happens. I can't lie to you. I would love to live a perfect life where there is nothing that annoys me. I'm a friend of everyone, everybody likes me, everybody talks good about me, but that's not the reality, right? And so it gets to a point, hi DJ Eke from I'm from the UK as well. It gets to a point where when at the end of the day, nobody's you're really expecting that, you know, somebody will do the best thing for me. That's not the reality. And so sometimes maybe if I'm feeling annoyed by something, if you had a birthday, oh, you had a birthday today, sorry Lee, sorry to hear about that. For me, when I have a bad day, the thing that I do, I usually tell myself, Claire, you've got to go out. When I go out, like now it's getting a little bit colder. I can see some people from the UK here. It's kind of autumn time, so it's a bit more cold, but you might be in a warmer country where it's a little bit much more better in terms of the weather. In the end, it gets to a point, and thank you for letting me know that it's helped you. It gets to a point that I'm just like, I need to let go of this. I need to release this tension. I need to release what I'm feeling at the moment. Yeah, it does get dark too early, and even we haven't gotten to December yet. And so when you have so for me, when I go out, I love running, and I love it because I can just let go, breathe, think about positive things. When I'm running, I'm focused on my run. I'm not focused on a child who's unwell or a conflict that I've had with someone. And so my mind is focused on, I don't want to get my mind distracted, and then I end up falling and things like that. And by the time you come back home, you realize, why was I really freaking out and annoyed about things? And at the end of it all, enjoy your dinner, Lee. And at the end of it all, I'm feeling a little bit disappointed. I'm feeling a little bit, annoyed. And by the time you come back, you'll be like, what was stressing me out? And now that is a bit more darker for us here, I've actually subscribed to the gym, and you're welcome. And when I've subscribed to the gym, I go to the gym sometimes at 6:30 because it'll be still very dark in the morning. And as I'm doing my exercise, I'm sweating out. I can honestly tell you, I just go to a point where I am desperate to kind of just go out there on the treadmill or whatever, and that really helps me. And so DJ says, my brother-in-law suffers from SAD syndrome this time of the year because of the lack of sun. Yeah, for sure that can be very depressive, that people have seasonal depression. That is actually something that just makes you to go down, and it makes you a little bit more sadder, it makes you a little bit more depressed, and it's just because of the lack of sunshine. I'm sorry to hear about that. We are sending our love to your brother-in-law. We are rooting for him. Tell him he's not alone. He can try and sometimes just incorporate things like physical activity, go out maybe for a walk, go out there's something about the fresh air, right? When I exercise outside, it's not the same thing as exercising in the gym. In the gym, you can feel like, there's a lot of sweat here, there, and all these kind of things. But when I am outside, there's just something beautiful about that fresh air. There's just something beautiful. The smell of the earth, the birds singing, the amazing nature, creation. You look at it and you're like, wow, I love that. And DJ says, I'm an outsider. I work outside. I'm a landscaper. I love being outside. Amazing, right? And so one of the things that Lee says, one thing that helps me when I'm sad or like I get anxiety is friends and family. Yeah, for me as well. My family is really key in my life. And sometimes I actually go out with my son. So he will be cycling and I will be running. It gives us more time to spend time together. But it helps me to be able just to do what I love, to not think about anything else, so that at the end of the day, I'm able to allow myself to just be in the present. And that is one of the amazing things I've loved about exercise. I'm like you, I don't like the rain though. I don't like it. And when I have to run in the rain, there are a few times that I've run in the rain and I'm going like, gosh, why me? Why me? Why today? That's like some of those times. I think potentially that's one of the reasons why I've actually ended up in the gym, because I'm like, I can't just manage coming back home and I'm all like, there's nothing as horrible as combining sweat and wet. Your sweat and you're wet at the same time from the rain. It can be really, really annoying, and I don't like that feeling at all. But I'm sure you're used to it, DJ. So guys, I know it hasn't rained where you are. Lee, where are you watching us from? Which country is that? Hasn't rained. I'll wait for you to type so I can try to find that on the map if I don't know exactly where it is, because rain, in the UK at the moment, it hasn't rained for a few days where I live, but I'm not a big fan of rain. You're in the UK. Which part of the UK? Is it the west, the south, the east? It hasn't rained for us as well for a few days, but yeah, the last few days has been a bit raining. And so at the end of it all, whether we like it or not, the weather will always be what it is, isn't it? We love talking about weather. we love talking about weather in the UK. So I'm sorry for those who are watching us who are not in the UK. That's one of the things that British people do all the time. We're in the UK. I am in Shropshire, so basically in the West Midlands. Glad to know that you are from Surrey. Amazing. That's beautiful. So as I was saying, if you are able to stay, you're clueless. Don't worry, it's fine, Lee. It's okay. Don't worry. As I was saying, if you are able to just get yourself out there, if you are able to incorporate some degree of physical activity, that can be really helpful. And I'm not asking you like physical activity to start off today and you'll be like running 1,000 kilometers or miles. I mean, you are going to get a burnout and you'll not do it again. But if you've never done anything like physical activity, you may want to Hampton Court Palace, amazing. Next time I'm down in Surrey, I may come by to say hello. You might want to start off with a few steps, right? If you've never done it before, you might want to just go and do half an hour of a walk. That's already good enough. If you are somebody who knows a lot about, who loves running and things like that, you can increase your tempo so that your body doesn't get used to it. But also be careful, because at the moment, as I said, I'm going to the gym a lot, but I'm also nursing an injury. I think I've just done a lot, too much of working out on my knees. I've done over 1,000 kilometers this year, and because of that, my knees are kind of getting to a point where amazing. I love coffee. You had this conversation with my son. It feels like you are overhearing us saying to him how I really, really love coffee. So at the end of the day, if I well, as I was saying, I've actually had injuries, so I'm reducing my running and things like that, but I'm going to the gym and I'm lifting weights, and I'm actually finding it so interesting. Initially I was like, oh, let's do a little bit of toning, but I've actually realized for me is not the toning that takes me to the gym, is actually the sweating that takes me to the gym. When I go on a stairmaster or I go on a treadmill, that really helps me so much. But I am kind of just slowing down, trying to reduce the pressure. Thank you. I am okay. I haven't heard a scan or anything to show. I just hope that I don't end up with a kneecap injury or a runner's knee, because that's something that is very, 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 very easy for me to get. So I'll respond to some of your comments so I can bring this to an end. So hello, DJ, you're saying black coffee is good for you. I love black coffee. Black coffee as it is, sometimes I put in a little bit of MCT oil. If you don't have MCT oil, just coconut oil, a little bit of it, a boost of energy after my exercise. That keeps me for a long time without eating, and I don't feel hungry at all. Like, I can feel hungry, but I feel hungry later on, if you know what I mean. So that's a hack that helps me. And I'm also trying to reduce so much of the dairy that I drink, and that's something that black coffee has been helpful. DJ says to get rid of toxins. I've never heard about that, but it's worth something that I'm gonna be reading just to understand a little bit more about it, because I love challenging myself. I teach every single day, but I don't know everything. So every single day I'm in a classroom, and I love when I learn something new, and I love learning from you guys as well. I've learned so much by just coming live and having these moments and these times of interacting with you guys. Well, it's just coming to about 15. You've been as well. That's amazing. It's coming just to about 15 minutes of this recording, and I don't want them to be too long, because if they're too long, then oh yeah, Liz asking a question: what gets rid of toxins? DJ was saying black coffee, and I mentioned I'll do some research on it, and maybe when I have some minutes I might come back on another live stream and talk about black coffee, or I might do a video about it. Or if you have any ideas or any articles or things like that, DJ, you can as well just share with your brothers and sisters in the chat or in the comment section. It will help us to kind of how do you say, learn as well. As I was saying, for me, I love black coffee after exercise, and I try to add in, if I have the MCT oil. If I don't have MCT oil, I just put some coconut, a teaspoon of coconut oil in there. Does help. He's saying it's also good for your microbiomes in your gut. The gut at the moment is one of those hype that everybody's talking about it, because your gut controls so many things. There's a relationship between your gut and your brain, and that's why if you look at how the gut looks at, like, actually it really replicates the way the brain looks like. And that's why your gut impacts, they found some information that shows your gut can impact your immune system. It can impact your mood. It can result in avoid stress and things like that, and it's one of your vital organs, as DJ says. And so you need to feed your gut. You need to oh, there you go, Mercy. I can see you. Good to see you online. She says, I'm looking forward to starting a workout. I'm 5 months postpartum, and any advice before outdoor activities? I'll come to that in a minute. So I was finishing off with the gut. So if you feed your gut, feed those good bacteria, they're going to help you. They're going to ensure that they help you with the immune system, immune function, etc. And that will be helpful. Mercy, coming back to you, one of the key things to think about is, when you have had a child, first of all, congratulations on your bundles of joy. It's amazing. Motherhood is incredible. I've seen a video that you posted on motherhood, and I will definitely be watching after this, because it's a good thing to happen. Congratulations in order for your children. And on top of that, when you're thinking about postpartum and thinking about exercise, it all depends on how you give birth to your children. So for example, if you've done a C-section, that means that at the end of the day, you need to let the wound start healing before you even think of anything like running and things like that. But you can still do a bit of walking and just listening to your body to see how your body responds to that. If it was just a normal delivery, again, it will take a little bit of, if you're breastfeeding your child, you don't want to really, there are some studies that show if you do a little bit of too much of exercises too quick, it can actually break down some of those what's the name, ketones in the milk, and then the child starts to feel like the breast milk feels a little bit different. And once that happens, it does really end up resulting in issues at the end of the day, and the child can start avoiding the breast milk and things like that. So you need a little bit of a compromise to know exactly when do you allow that to happen. So you don't want to impact your little one. They need your milk, but also you don't want to rush into exercise. When I had my boy, for example, I added a lot of weight, but I had to gradually start easing to the exercise. So I was going a lot outdoors, bringing my pram with me, but just walking. So you can go outdoors. You can do lots of walking with your babies. You can do that with even friends and things like that. Going to the park, bringing them out and things like that. And then once you start to lose some of the weight that you put on with the babies, then you can start to increase the level of intensity of activities. And before then, at least I will give it maybe even potentially a year before you go back into so much quick running and things like that. Because honestly, when you're still carrying some weight and you start running, you can also injure your knees. And at this moment, the well-being and the welfare of your kids is the most important thing. I hope that makes sense and that helps you. DJ says he's a DJ and has got 3,000 records. Put your I don't like the chats because they disappear later, but if you leave it in the comment section, if you're on YouTube, leave your link there. I will look out for you and listen to some of your records. You love working, you work for us. So you're like my husband. I will never go anywhere with my husband. If we agree we're going somewhere for shopping, you will think it's somebody trying to chase after the other because he's so fast and I can't catch up with him. So when we go out shopping, this is like, I'll say that anyway. When you go out shopping with my husband, we agree, we meet at a place and we agree and we say, you're welcome, Mercy. We say, we're going to go maybe 30 minutes, go your way, I go my way, and then in 30 minutes we'll come back, meet at point A. Once you finish that, then we take another 30 minutes breakaway and come back, because I can't just catch up with this pace. And you're saying, yeah, and it has anything to help with stress. I'm coming back to your poor daughter has a run alongside you. I do that with my husband every time. I'm like, I don't want to go out with him. Anything to do with stress, number one, it all depends on what's causing the stress, right? We've talked about SAD already, which is related to the changes in the environment. It might just be checking that you have enough vitamin D, because vitamin D as well affects things like mood, etc. And in the UK, you can actually go to the GPs and just say to them, can I do a blood work just to see how my minerals are doing in this time of the year? And just checking that you have enough of that can really be helpful. Checking what's the source of the stress, right? You can't cure. Most of the people are quick to run into curing the symptoms without understanding the root cause. So it will be important for you to let us know a little bit, but maybe you can do this with your GP as well. What is it that is causing you the stress? And once you identify the root, you can be able to deal with the symptoms. It can be potentially, maybe you're worried about something, maybe you're worried about money, you're worried about life, you're worried about living, you're worried about death. So if it is worry and anxiety, one of the things you might want to think about could be, you could do it in collaboration with your GP, asking potentially to get, for example, a therapist, and that's something you can get via the NHS. You don't have to pay for that, and you'll get a therapy sessions, and they give you, like, it's cognitive behavioral therapy, which will help you to deal with some of these things. If it is stress because maybe you've lost a loved one, again, you might want to think of support systems in place. So it is difficult for me to just give a blanket advice on how to deal with stress if I don't know exactly what is the root cause. But this is again something that if it is really impacting your day-to-day life, is impacting how you do life, you might as well start with just seeing your GP, who has your duty of care, explaining to them what's going on, and they will be able to refer you, whether you need a therapist or you need a counselor or whoever that you need to walk through the journey. But never underestimate the power of just speaking to someone. I was talking to my friend earlier. I just had one of those days and I'm feeling so annoyed, and I was just feeling so terrible. And as I was talking to her, she just said to me a few things, and after that I thought, oh wow, why was I worked out? Like, why was I upset? And I said to my friend, I've only spoken to you for half an hour and I feel really way much more better than I was before coming here. So talking, for me, talking is therapy, right? If you have someone that you can talk to, you have friends, you have family, you have relations that you can talk to, open up to someone. Don't die in silence. And that's what my friend told me. If you are annoyed by something, do not die in silence. And I'm praying for you. I will be sending you lots of love, that you will be able to come out of that season, because there's nothing in life that is permanent. Every season has got to change at some point. So if you're going through that season where it feels a little bit stressfully, my prayer for you is that this season will come to an end and you'll experience a season of joy and a season of being free from any stress and anxiety. Okay, guys, I've got to go. I pray, yeah, talking definitely helps. Absolutely, DJ. For me, I talk about everything and anything, and when I keep things to myself, it does really hurt me. But when I talk, and of course it's not talking to everyone, right? You have that, I usually say you have those people that you will do with them kitchen conversations. All your conversations be about food, but there are those people that you may have your inner circle that you can actually talk to them, whatever that is eating you. You can be vulnerable to them. Just be careful. Use your discernment, use your intuition, so that when you're selecting people to talk to, you know you don't want somebody that will be airing your story. You finish talking to someone and you're like, oh, okay, I heard it from so and so. If they can't really give you the confidence of keeping your story with them, then stay away from them. And also give people your time. Absolutely, when you expect time from people, the best thing you can also do is be that listening ear to another person. You might be another person's solution. When you talk about issues that you're going through in life, could be a solution or a saving grace for someone else. DJ, Mercy, Lee, all of you guys who have joined here, who've commented. I don't even know how to say that. PYEHT. Guys, I really love you. I really appreciate you. It's been amazing having to join up with you guys, catching up with you guys. Those who are in the UK today, I think it might be bonfire night. If you're going out to get your fireworks, please stay safe. Don't go and get yourself into trouble. But if you're staying indoors, my prayer for you is that God would richly bless you. For those who've joined us from overseas, I know Mercy, she's from my beloved country, Kenya. God bless you so much for catching up with us. And those of you that have been there, just watching in the background, haven't told us where you're watching us from, we love you, we celebrate you, we appreciate you. We pray that you have a great evening. God bless you. I love you guys. God change the world in the way that only you can do. And my prayer for you is that you will prosper and be in good health even as your soul prospers. Good night and God bless. And I shall see you again in episode 11 of our Soul Care Wednesday, which will be next week on Wednesday. Bye. Thank you.